This week on Storytime at the Rubus, I'm on the road again, but me and Sharla are talking about prep for the bus, some of her picks from South by Southwest, and a lot of other fun nonsense. Let's go.
Welcome to Storytime at the Rubus, a weekly podcast about Bonnaroo and other festivals. I'm your host, Sharla.
Hey everyone, it's Daniel, and yet again, I'm on the road. Either Sharla has been on the road or I have, or we've been on vacation together in the past month. It's been a little wild. I'm reporting in from the Space Coast down here in Central Florida. You probably know why. I imagine we'll talk about it a little bit here in just a while. But man, it's getting wild. Thank you to Shayna for filling in for Sharla last week. We kind of went over a lot of tips now that it kind of sort of is roost season. Sharla, are you feeling it? The weather is getting warmer. You know, I started power washing the bus last week. It's starting to get closer to feeling like that time, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Somebody pointed it out today on our Discord. They said we have seen the first shoe post on Reddit. So it's officially.
What? Explain this to me. I missed that. What is the shoe post?
Oh, it was just someone asking about shoes. Like, what shoes should I wear? So.
Oh, I feel like we go through the same cycle of Reddit posts every year. There's like this whole list of things that we go through, like people who are considering getting tickets to people who are, you know, kind of overly freaking about how they're going to pack everything, how they're going to lay out their camp. You really know that we're getting close when you start seeing these posts about like, hey, my entire crew bailed. Shayna and I talked about that last week. I'm going to put it out there and just be a little out there. You really know we're closed when you start seeing the swinger posts start coming through like in the week or two before.
Oh, no. My favorite is Need a Miracle.
Yeah, that one always happens a couple of days before.
But not for tickets. Need a Miracle ride from like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I am coming in from Oregon. I need a ride from anybody that is coming to Rue from here. It's. Yeah, we're getting there. You're starting to see these type of posts on the Reddit that you see every year. And it's like, man, the birds are coming out. The grass is getting greener. There's leaves on the trees. And those crazy Reddit posts are starting to come out. It really is spring. And it really is roost season now.
It truly is.
Yeah. All right, we have a lot to go through. I did want to, before we really start diving into a lot of Bonnaroo stuff, just do a little catch up of all the travel that we've been doing and everything.
Sure.
I wanted to thank everybody for the good comments that we got about our Thailand travel episode. That was a lot of fun to put together. I neglected to put much in from our little stopover in Korea. I doubt that she'll be listening to this because of a number of reasons. She's busy being a mom, but I want to give a shout out to our friend Ashu in Seoul and her husband Casey for showing us around Seoul. We didn't talk about this on the travel episode, but I did want to shout out this cool concept that Sharla and I learned about when we were over there. I'm sure it's kind of a thing in the States, but Sharla, do you want to explain this Susie Q's place that we stopped in Seoul?
Sure. So Casey and Ashu took us to a place called Susie Q's, and it's what Daniel said. It's a vinyl bar. It's like looks like a record store almost, but it's a bar. And Susie or a DJ, you can pick out an album and they'll play it. Like any album that they have. It's like they have collected these albums for 30 plus years, and you just put in your request and they'll play you an album while you're there at the bar.
I went digging around and she had some dead vinyl up in there. I didn't realize until I was digging into this month's issue of the National Geographic that has become a big trend over in Asia recently. There was an article about these jazz vinyl clubs that have popped up in Tokyo for decades now, but they've really started to latch on with some younger groups. And so it was kind of trippy to go to one and then just like a couple of weeks later learn like, hey, this is a big thing in Asia. So yeah. Again, shout out to Ashu and Casey for taking us there and for Susie for hosting us that night over there.
I had such a good time with Ashu and Casey. We have not seen Ashu in
2 years.
2 years, yeah, because she came to Thailand the last time we were there.
Yeah.
And she actually has been to Bonnaroo with us before. She came in 2019. We originally met her in Thailand back in 18-ish.
Yeah.
And this was the first time that we had met Casey, her husband. And it was so funny because we found out that we listened to the same type of music that Casey does.
Yeah.
Or Casey listens to the same type of music as we do, and we just cut up with him all night. It
I
was
had
quite.
just offhandedly said something about King Gizzard, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I get down with Stu and the boys."
He said no. He said, "Stu and the boys." I
Yeah,
dabble.
he dabbles. I think he does a little bit more than dabble. But yeah, that was fun. Shout out to them. I would have included some pictures in this video that you're watching if you're watching us on YouTube. I just wanted to circle back on that since we didn't include anything about it on our travel episode. Now, Sharla, how's everything going back home? I know you've been busy while I've been traveling and everything. I started power washing the bus last week when I had a day off while you were at work. Have you been thinking about getting some of our things ready a little bit now that we're 80
Actually,
days?
yes. Actually, yes, I have. Actually, yes, I have. I've been thinking about getting some new stuff this year for the bus.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about how we're going to do the Talk to God phone booth this year because I have some ideas for that. I think we
Yeah.
talked about it a little bit, about building it up a little bit more, making it a little bit more visible than we did last year, and just kind of making it a little bit more interactive. Some different things we can kind of do with it this
Yeah.
year, making it more of a permanent structure per se. So I got some ideas for that. But also something I want to do with the bus, and I'm not going to talk about it because I haven't showed it to you yet, Daniel. So
Okay.
I'm going to send you after we get off this episode and see what you think about it.
All right. I'll let you know. I do want to back up a step about the Talk to God phone booth. I think we have mentioned it on the show a time or two, and we kind of like put it next to the bus at our camp last year, but we didn't make it like super prominent, kind of like you just talked about.
Yeah,
That
because we just
thing,
had an idea for it last year.
yeah, it was a good proof of concept. We got the tech working right, but I did want to kind of explain it to everybody who hasn't listened to episodes from like months ago. So the Talk to God phone booth is an idea that we borrowed from Burning Man. It has been a thing over there probably for at least a decade. So you see a phone booth out in the middle of nowhere or in front of somebody's camp at Burning Man, and it literally is an old school phone booth from like the 90s or older. You have like a corded telephone in there, and sometimes you can call it. It might randomly ring when you're walking by. You go pick it up, and somebody on the other line plays the role of the man upstairs. So it can be a jokey thing where you're just kind of playing around, or it can be a serious thing where the person on the other end of the line is giving serious advice. So Charlotte and I got to try that last time we were there 2 years ago almost. And I got to see a little bit of, how Santa's workshop works back there. On the other end, there was a bit of an instruction book about like how you're supposed to play the role of the man upstairs. And it was cool. I sat there for a half hour, got to give advice, got to be kind of funny with some people. I had some deep conversations with people that took the role play of the conversation seriously. So we love the idea, and we want there to be that kind of fun goofiness and creativity out in the camp. So we're like, hey, let's try this. So we found like a little phone system that was just like $30 or $40, and we hooked it up. We put the other end outside, and like it was like a shower tent, right?
Yes, that's what we use. One of those little pop-up shower tents. I found it
Yeah.
on Amazon. It was like $20 or something.
It worked well, and we put the other end in the bus, and we had various people playing the role. It was a lot of fun. I think the concept worked well enough, and as Charla said, we might be taking it up a notch or two this year. So when you come to the bus, come have a talk with the Almighty, I suppose. You never know who's going to be playing the role. I do want to say, I want to peek behind the curtain just for a second and brag on Pawpaw Josh, because he did a fantastic job playing the role for a little bit there inside the bus. It was really fun.
There's someone that I really want to get to be God this year that I'm holding out for them to be God.
Do you want to say, or do you want it to be a surprise?
No, I want it to be a surprise.
I would say that J-Bone would be very good at it. He can be thoughtful, but also ridiculous and funny. I think that Dave from the Monkey Bar would be very good at it. He's hilarious, but also is a great source of wisdom. Many others. We'll have to circle back on that. I think there's a number of people that would be very good at it. But I did want to talk a little bit more about like bus prep. So a lot of people ask us about this kind of thing. Like, what all do you have to do to get ready? Well, at this stage in the game, I'm mainly worried about washing the thing off because, as many of you may remember or have seen if you've come to visit us, the bus is parked next to our house. It doesn't go in a big garage or anything like that. But because it's under a number of trees, it gets pretty gunky in the off season. So around this time of the year when it starts warming up, I have to go on top of it with a power washer, take like a scrubbing rag. It takes a good couple of weeks to get it in good condition. But after that, we have to go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get some paint that's glossy that matches the blue close enough and go over spots where, I mean, let's be honest, it's an 89 bus. It rusts over and the paint is peeling off in some places, especially on the hood and on top. So we kind of got to go over that and everything. So that's kind of what I'm personally thinking about right now in terms of prep. What about you, Charlotte? Are you already thinking about cleaning things up and making additions and stocking it and everything?
Oh, well, absolutely. I'm always constantly throughout the year thinking about, okay, what do I need? Because if you can buy your items throughout the year, and this goes for everyone, if you can buy your items throughout the year, then you're not going to end up the week before Bonnaroo, 2 weeks before Bonnaroo, having a, $300 or $400 bill. Like, oops, oh my gosh, I got to run out and buy, $400 worth of stuff. So I always try to buy things that I need starting in like at least, February, March, this time of the year.
Have you though? Because I haven't started getting anything just yet.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. We can put that Costco membership to use when you're ready.
True, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We haven't talked about this, but I'm going to go over it with you in real time on the podcast because I don't care. So a couple of months ago, we thought there was going to be a winter storm come through North Alabama. It never got that bad, but there was warnings that the power might have gone off in an ice storm. So one thing I got, in addition to like a new like battery that we can use as a power source, is a propane stove. And I have said for years, I'm not the type of person that likes to cook at Rue, but I'm kind of thinking about bringing that and like dipping my toes back into those waters and like cooking a little something a day or two. Would you be opposed to that?
I mean, you do you, boo.
Well, I kind of want to do I bought that thing. I don't want it to just collect dust. I'm kind of thinking.
We had one in the attic. We had a perfectly good propane stove.
Yes, we do. However,
Oh,
yeah, the little regulator was broken. And when I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, the regulator was not on sale. However, the stove itself was. So I only spent $10 more than the regulator to get the stove, which included a regulator. So it seemed dumb to not buy a new one in that case. Do you know what I'm saying?
yes.
But since I have it, I think I'm probably going to bring it and just probably just one time, try to cook a little something that doesn't take that much prep. Probably one of the first days, so I don't have to keep it in the cooler for too long,
What are you going to cook?
Huh?
What are you going to cook?
I have not decided. I'm going to do my research on that and get back with you. And I suppose
I froze some, did the whole burrito thing one year. Made them, and then I froze them and put them on the grill. Never again. It's just so much work. It's so much freaking work. To me, in my opinion, it's so much work. No.
It can be, but I'm tempted to try it out one day. Like I said, let me think about what it might be. And if anybody has any suggestions, the link to the Discord is in the show notes. Pop in on the podcast channel and let me know. If you're camping with us, come hit me up. Maybe we can warm something up one day. But this will be a continual theme on the podcast for the next 2 months. I'm going to let you know what I'm thinking about cooking. But I want to test the waters. I've said for years, I'm not like the type of person that does that at Rue, but now I'm like, I have this. Might not be that hard. I'm going to give it a try. So
I know what you can do. I know what you can do.
What?
I got you. Cook some bacon.
Bacon.
And be that. Let me finish. Do some bacon and tote it around like the bacon guy at Burning Man.
Okay. Well, I wish you hadn't just said it on the podcast because we could have surprised. Maybe they'll forget it.
I haven't said it all. I just said the bacon guy at Burning Man. That's all I said.
The bacon guy. I could be the new bacon guy. All right. That's a good thought. I will consider this. I like this a lot.
And you can get the bacon that doesn't have to stay cold. You can get the already cooked bacon that stays on the shelf.
Good thinking. All right. We need to stop now if we want this to be a surprise. We can't record this conversation for the podcast. Now, Sharla, there was another thing I didn't want to go over. I was kind of looking at the Reddit today, knowing that we were bacon. Yeah, I know. So I was kind of looking at the Reddit today, thinking about like what we were going to record. There hasn't really been any big news, but now that we're getting closer, I think a lot of the relevant conversations are starting to pop up, not just on Reddit, but on Discord, even InfoRoo, some of these different places. One of the most, upvoted things on Reddit this past week was this whole conversation about bringing glass into Bonnaroo. Now, first of all, we should say that glass is a no-no. You should in no way bring it. It is against the rules. If you break it, there's a lot of people that walk around barefoot. That's going to be bad news for everybody involved. So you should not, under any circumstances, bring that, especially into Centeroo. Like, if you haven't been, yes, there will be wooks or part-time wooks that walk around barefoot, even in there, or in sandals. I've done it a time
I'd
or
say
two.
it's worse in the campgrounds than Centeroo.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's bad in both cases. I guess it's debatable about which is worse.
Period.
Now, I want to deeply wade into what might be controversial. I think there are some cases in which there are different types of glass that are a little unavoidable. So let's say, for example, something like that. Maybe you have like just little bottles of like whatever libation that you want to bring in. They have been seen around the Monkey Bar at times. Do we include those if somebody is responsible enough to keep it in a storage place and not put it out where it might get broken?
Here's the thing, Daniel. There's hella wooks at Bonnaroo, and they ain't hella responsible.
No.
So the people that are not responsible have ruined it for everybody else.
Okay. That's a good way of thinking about it. I agree. And when you come through the gate, the person that's checking it can't necessarily look at somebody and be like, oh, this person's going to be responsible with this bit of a glass bottle. Years ago, I had a bottle of barbecue sauce and they made me throw it out, which, to be fair, I mean, that was against the rules for me to bring it in. I personally feel that a bottle of barbecue sauce is a lot different than like a giant glass jug of vodka or something that somebody bought for cheap over at the ABC or something like that. But the rules have to be applied uniformly. I think we have to say the responsible thing on a podcast that often works with Bonnaroo and say like, hey, don't under any circumstances bring it at all, because even if you intend well and think that you are responsible, accidents happen, But I want to hear your take on this. Are there some loopholes or exceptions? None whatsoever?
No, none.
Okay. So I guess what we have to responsibly recommend is that if you are bringing in a little bit of the sauce, you should transfer it over to some kind of equitable plastic bottle.
Oh my God. People bring alcohol to Bonnaroo? People drink there? Oh my God.
That never under any circumstance ever happens whatsoever. There's no bars at Bonnaroo. What's that thing from like the Avatar cartoon? There's no war and whatever the name of that country was.
I thought I was going to a Christian camp. Oh, this is church camp.
This is Christian summer camp. We have Bible study at 2 p.m. and then we all go bathe in the river with our clothes on after that.
In your jeans? What was that? Didn't you go to church camp or something? But no, you went to a camp. They couldn't call it church camp because that was.
If only they saw me now. That's where it all went wrong.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, but yes, to wrap that up, please don't bring glass. Like, yes, we know many of you are responsible, and
yeah, no, seriously, just the unresponsible people have ruined things for the responsible people. I mean, that's just with anything.
This is very true. We have much more to talk about that as everybody is starting to prep after a while. This will be a shorter episode this week since Sharla and I are doing this remote yet again while I'm on the road. I think it'll happen next week while I'm in Boston, unless you want to record in the one day that I'm home on Easter Sunday, speaking of church camp, I suppose. We'll see about that next week.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. I did want to dive into some totem stuff here in just a moment, but before we get too far, I did want to talk briefly about what's going on down here in Florida. This is obviously not very Roo related, although there are a couple of Roofians that also work for NASA. We talked about these things a time or two. Ryan and Jordan, who have been on the show some time ago, who went to Burning Man with us, also work at Marshall Space Flight Center. Before I say anything about all this, I have to, preface this by saying, yes, that's the day job. But what I'm about to say is not a part of the day job. I'm just saying as a fan of this kind of stuff, I would love this stuff even if I didn't work there. So yes, this will be publishing on Tuesday, the 31st. As of this moment, it looks pretty good that Artemis 2 will be launching on April 1st, around 6:24 Eastern time. Yeah,
AM or
PM. Thank you for clarifying. 6:24 PM, but tune in before that on the NASA YouTube or pretty much whatever news channel because it's a big deal. Man, it is cool to see the hard work of so many people over the course of so many years finally about to pay off. It's amazing. It's getting emotional for me to see that big vehicle on the pad just about ready to go. Hearing from the 4 astronauts that are going to be going up. They've been working hard for close to 3 years now. Many people that have been working on the vehicle and the whole program have been working a lot longer than that. It's a big, big, big deal. And again, I'm not speaking in any official capacity. I'm just saying this as somebody that is a fan and would be interested in any case. Do me a solid. This will publish before the scheduled launch. Hopefully it is going to go on Wednesday the 1st. Do me a solid. Take a look. Just please enjoy the good work of so many people that they've been putting in for so long. It's a big deal. So thank you for taking a look and being a fan of the fun science and adventure that is about to take place. Sharla, is there anything you want to say? Obviously, we're a space household in the rocket city of Huntsville, Alabama.
go space.
I sent something to, we were talking about Pawpaw Josh. He loves it when he's mentioned on the show. I sent something to him. I was like, hey, man, looks like it's good to go. And he said something about like, well, have fun in outer space. I'll miss you, as if I was. I'm like, nah, I'm not. I'd love to go. I'm not going though. I'll leave that to the professionals. Yeah. All right. So yes, again, take a look on the YouTube stream or pretty much any news channel this Wednesday the 1st. We appreciate you guys. Again, I'm not speaking in official capacity, but it is appreciated for everybody being interested in the fun science and adventure that is happening right now. All right. On to other things. Sharla, do we want to talk a little bit about Totem? We have a list of our Patreons to go through in a moment, but do you want to tell everybody about the Minty application that is out now?
Well, you tell them about it because you know more about the Mentee program than I do.
Well, yeah. So the application is out now. It is a pinned post on the Reddit as of the moment. I think we put it on the Totem socials. We put it on the Robust Discord. If you know of anybody that is coming to their first Bonnaroo as a rookie, if they could use some support from a veteran, please send them to that form. You can find it on any of those places that I mentioned. It'll take them just 5 minutes or less to fill it out. We just want to know their contact information, a couple of bands they're looking forward to seeing, kind of where they're from, so we can possibly match them to somebody from the same area if we can. We'll connect them on our Discord. We'll connect them with a couple of people. One main person as their mentor that will help them out, but a number of people on that particular channel on our Discord that will provide them guidance, advice, maybe some good advice and bad advice, depending on what it may be. But main thing, if you know somebody that's coming along for the first time, please, 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 please have them fill out that form. We want to help them out and introduce them to the Roo community, make sure they're successful at their first Bonnaroo, and make sure that they know about things like the code, what to do, what not to do, and just make sure that they're good Rubians and neighbors along with the rest of us. So again, check the Reddit. It's pinned there for a couple more days. Look for it on our Discord. I think it's on our socials, and I think it's on totemfnd.org as well. That will be open through the end of April, I believe. So have them filled out. The sooner the better. We appreciate that. Anything you want to add on that, Sharla?
No, we've gotten a few applications so far, and I'm so excited for this because we're doing it a little bit different this year in making sure that people don't really get ghosted, because we've had that problem in the past.
Yeah, it sucks.
And in the past, we have had people that have literally just made, well, I don't want to say lifelong because we've only been doing it for 3 years, but we've had people that have become really good friends with, their mentor or mentee. And I think that's just amazing. I love it.
Yeah. It's got, we have had issues with people that sign up early and then like all of a sudden decide they're not going to Bonnaroo after all and kind of neglect to tell us. I mean, not throwing shade or anything. It happens. We get it.
Yeah.
But we've taken a couple of safeguards, made a couple of changes to ensure that that's not going to happen this year. So again, if you know somebody coming to the first one, have them sign up. We'll look them up. Real quick before we go to our Patreon list, Charlotte, how is the scholarship process coming along?
Okay, so I'm happy to talk about that.
Yeah.
So we have narrowed down our finalist. The board voted on it, voted on the applications, and then we did take some of our Patreons. They actually helped us vote on our applications as well, which was super, super cool. That's something that we've never done before, and something that we really took into consideration this year because we wanted to hear from, the people that really are putting these kids through. We wanted their input as well. So we asked for input from our Patreons as well. So we narrowed down to 7 finalists, and they're all really, really good applications. I mean, I had read through all of the applications and read through all of the essays, and I'm really excited. Especially, there's a couple of them on there that I'm very, very excited for. There's one of them I'm not supposed to pick favorites, but there's one of them on there I'm super, super, super excited for. And right now we're going to be bringing back our 3 from last year. And then I believe we have 3.5 new ones. So something like 7-ish scholars this year or something. So we're on track to do even better than what we thought we would do.
Yeah.
So I'm super, super excited this year.
It's getting wild. When we get done with the travel, we got to hit the ground running. We got a lot going on in terms of getting everybody their supplies, getting them set up to be successful this year. Like you said, we'll have 3, maybe even 4 new ones this year, and the 3 returning.
Yeah, someone actually donated their ticket. They couldn't go or something. Someone donated their ticket for a scholarship. So we're very thankful for that.
That's a big deal. We appreciate the trust that many of you put in us in different ways. And speaking of which, I do want to call out our Patreons. With all the travel and everything, we haven't mentioned everybody. Shane and I did last week. Charlotte, I have the list on my side, so I'll run through it. It's usually your job, but I'm happy to take it this week.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. All right. Before I tell you, many of you longtime listeners know already, we do the Patreon. Every cent goes to the Totem Foundation. It helps fund the supplies that our scholarship people are getting, our overhead, many other things. It helps, keep rude traditions going with the next generation. You can learn more at totemfnd.org. And you can pitch in a couple of bucks a month if you want at patreon.com/Rubus. And to tell you all the people that are hooking us up, I'll run through the list. So we have Jordan, Alyssa, Imani, Brad, Jared, Olivia, Claire, John, Lexi, Danny, Lisa, Buttercrew Nick, Delaney, John with the Texas Root Crew, Brady, Rave Dad, Courtney, Casey with the Texas Root Crew, Christy, Jums, David and Aurora, String Bean, Zach and Jeremy, Amber, J-Bone, Sam, Austin, James, Hygiene Queen, Chris and Shay, Dan, go Artemis 2, Ernst, Harris, Keith, Casey, Perry, Nick, Maddie, Bruce, Andrew, Kent, Randy, Papa Josh, Bosco, Eric and Ben, sorry about the Hawkeyes, Evan, Chloe, and Sean. Thank you, everyone. Again, it is at patreon.com/Rubus. We appreciate every little bit. It certainly helps.
Yes, thank you guys so much. We are super, super appreciative, and I know our scholars are very appreciative as well.
Yeah. One thing I do want to shout out, I always shout out like particular friends that are on the list. Just to be kind of serious and maybe just a little sad for a moment. I do want to shout out Skylar and Evan, the beloved sausage across the Rainbow Bridge this morning. I got to meet Nico just about a month ago. He's a very sweet dog. So we're thinking about you guys. We love that dog too. We all love our pets around here. So Nico is making everybody feel guilty about the cheese tax on the other side of the Rainbow Bridge. I love Nico.
He was pretty old, I guess.
I think so. It was a very sweet dog. I'm glad I got to hang out with him. But yeah, we love Nico. Nico forevers. All right. It's hard to turn the page from a kind of a bittersweet note, but Sharla, I believe we had a couple of weekly picks this week, right?
Yeah. You want to go first or you want me to?
Well, you go first because I think you already know what I'm going to talk about.
Oh, probably. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did actually mention this band. I think I've already mentioned this band a few weeks ago, whenever the last time I was on the podcast was, because I don't even remember that.
It's been a minute.
But the band Karma Sheen. It's not Karma Sheen. It's Karma Sheen. And that's Karma, one word, Sheen, Sheen. Karma Sheen. And they are a British Pakistani psychedelic jam band. So I actually got to see this band when I was at South by a few weeks ago. So during the day, I went to all of the marketing conferences, mostly marketing, AI, tech, things like that. And I had a chance to see like just a few bands because at night you're just so exhausted from walking around to all of these sessions throughout the day. So there really wasn't, really time to really check out a lot of music stuff. But I really, really wanted to see, this was my number one pick. So I went to see them. Karma Sheen. They are high energy. Think Imdu Mokhtar and King Giz. Think like a mix of them. Think guitars and sitars. I would start with the songs Without You, or I'm not going to pronounce this one correctly. I'm so sorry. Think Ishq Kalma. I don't know. When I saw him, I bought the single of it.
That's cool.
And got him to sign it, which is really super cool. But they are just phenomenal. They're probably my favorite new band of 2026 by far and away. The second band, I didn't see them, but I found them through the South by lineup. They are from China, and the name of the band is A Wordless Orange. A Wordless Orange. And they're an Asian psychedelic band. I recommend starting with the song Wu Chang Library. And they're a little bit more lo-fi than a typical psychedelic band, but definitely check them out. Again, A Wordless Orange. Okay, and I got one more. Better Joy, Better, second word Joy, Joy. She is a British artist, and she's got this really easygoing, like 80s kind of pop vibes. She's from Manchester, UK. Just really, really easygoing, kind of like a fun pop style, but not really like, it's not really where it's like too much, too in your face. It's just really easygoing, very 80s kind of sound. So Better Joy is the name of that. So that's my 3 picks.
All right. Thank you for the South by Southwest report, Sharla. You hadn't really told me about those second 2. I'm going to have to check those out now. Those are right up my alley.
Well, you'll like A Wordless Orange for sure.
All right. I have some listening to do on my commute down here. All right. I have a pick. It's not a band. It's a movie. Just by saying that, I think many of you already know where I'm going with this. So the last night that I was in Huntsville, I wanted to take Sharla out on a date night, and we went to go see Project Hail Mary. Now, I will preface this by saying I had not read the book. Shame on me. I had read The Martian before we saw the Matt Damon movie a couple of years ago, but I had not seen this. I just never happened to get around to it. I knew that it was a little bit more sci-fi based than The Martian was. The Martian is obviously sci-fi, but it's based in a lot of realism. Project Hail Mary is a little bit more out there, but I felt after seeing it that it's still based in a lot of hard science. Now, this week, by the nature of hanging out with some of the crew that I am, I've gotten to talk with a lot of people, and they have told me, like, no, a lot of what is in the book especially checks out. Now, little rocky aliens, maybe not, but that's fun and we can forgive it. But a lot of the other things are pretty feasible. Now, as far as the movie itself goes, oh my gosh, I loved it. It was very in line with The Martian already. You got these fun spacey themes with a great soundtrack that goes with it. A very positive and uplifting message. I loved the very timely message about scientists working together, across borders to solve problems. I love that it was a lot more optimistic and not so, apocalyptic and doomsday like many other sci-fi works are these days. It was a breath of fresh air. I hate to consider the alien buddy, Rocky, in the movie a spoiler. Ryan Gosling was given an interview, and I thought he said the funniest thing. He was like, well, it's not really a spoiler because, would you consider the fact that, the little boy that hangs out with E.T., the alien, is a spoiler? Is it a spoiler to say that, an alien is a character in that movie? Otherwise, it's just a movie about a kid's parents getting divorced. That's not a fun way of summarizing the movie. So I don't think it's a spoiler to talk about, this alien creature, Rocky, kind of like this crab-looking guy that's made of basically rocks, and he's translated, and he's hilarious and lovable, and I feel like he steals the show with the whole movie, even though it's about a lot of fun science, and it's a fun, positive, uplifting message. Like the kind of goofy stuff that he gets into as like this little mischievous alien buddy, just like really put it over the top for me. I would say Project Hail Mary possibly is my top movie of the year to this point. And we're only in April, but it might just stay that way. Did you like it, Sharla?
So I really liked it. My only thing about it was I felt the movie itself was a little bit too long, but I know that that's a personal problem. I personally don't like really long movies, especially seeing them in the theater. But again, that's a personal problem. Other than that, I loved it. I loved it. All of it.
Good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. What's funny is like we missed the first 2 or 3 minutes because we just assumed that our local theater up the road from us would have had like 20 something minutes worth of trailers. So we stopped and got something on the way in. And like we walk in and it's like already started. So now I know better. If you're in Huntsville, the Cineplanet over in Madison doesn't seem to have any trailers anymore. So show up on time. Just word to the wise.
That was wild. We came in at 7. I looked at my watch. We came in at 7:06 and it had already was into the movie. It was like, huh?
It was funny because like I went with Brooklyn and her boyfriend Matt a couple months ago when Lord of the Rings was back in the theaters, and we went to go see Return of the King. And like everybody knows that's a long movie. It was the extended edition. It was almost 4 hours, and there was still a buttload of trailers in front of it. I was like, well, I guess I'm spending my day in the theater. Yeah, and there was like this Peter Jackson introduction at the beginning, which I love him. I respect him so much, but he rambled quite a bit in that introduction. So we were there like all night. Thankfully, they loved it. That was Brooklyn's first time seeing that. She had a good time. But to circle back around, yes, Project Hail Mary. Can't recommend it enough. A little long for Charlotte's taste, but just fine for me. Okay, Sharla, I think we might have one more episode from the road next week, but after that, I think me and you are home up until Rue, thank goodness. So when we do another, yeah, I know. When we do another episode in person, it will be from inside the bus finally, because it's finally just about that time.
No, we're not home up until Rue. We got so many trips planned between now and Rue. What are you talking about?
Couple of things, but we'll be back in person finally. I mean, we're in person, but not really. It's remote, But yes, the week after next, we'll be in the bus doing an episode as God intended. All right. But thank you for everybody for bearing with us as we've had so much travel. We are 70 something days away now. So, man, guys, I think you know this already. You don't need the reminder, but it's time to be checking in with your crew, kind of coordinating things, thinking about your packing list, things like that. The schedule will be around before you know it. And little birdie tells me that a very good group plaza lineup will be out before too long.
You should check in with your crew. Oh my God, we got a crew.
We got a crew. Oh my God, we should.
We got people that are going to. We know other people that go to Bonnaroo.
Oh my God, we do. Maybe we should check in with them.
We got a group.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully I see you guys on the other side of a fun launch. We'll see you next week, either remote or maybe from our house. If we do it Sunday, we'll figure it out. But until next week, get out there and radiate positivity. Love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.